I was gonna sit down here and talk to you about a monthly recap for July, but then I realized, hey, people probably aren't that interested in just me speaking about who I played with, who won what, whatever. You come for the banter and for Doolin's giggles, to be quite honest with you.
I got this and you can't get mad at me.
Weird flex, but okay. Instead, I'm just gonna go rapidly review all 25 games that I played 75 times in the month of July. I'm gonna make it quick. The first game I played in the month of July is Santa Monica by AEG. If you watched our AEG wrap-up video, you saw that it landed number 2 on my top 9 AEG games that I've played so far. I still believe that. Of course, I've only played this game one time, but my one play with Duelin was awesome. It was really fun. Really simple, quick, and streamlined tableau builder, maybe? You're drafting different tiles and basically building out the Santa Monica Pier beaches area, and there's just a variety of scoring conditions. There's also, you're moving meeples, trying to get them to the right place, and you have to, action selection, make sure you're taking the right cards and the right actions to push you towards your end goals. I really did enjoy it. Very simple and streamlined game by AEG. Next up on the list, another AEG game. We played Tiny Towns. I have only played this one twice, both in the month of July. Really enjoyed it, but man, do I suck. I'm really bad at this. It kind of reminds me, and Duelin pointed this out, of kind of like the Minecraft engine or Minecraft builder workshop, whatever, where you're putting things in certain areas to craft a certain item, and then you're fitting them on your board. The problem being is that it's so easy to get stuck. It's so easy to just screw yourself out of ever completing anything else again. Both times I've played this game, I believe I finished with 5 empty spots because I'm just not very good. Great game though, totally recommend it. Okay, next on the list we played, I don't have it, Seven Wonders Duel. We played this game one time. I played it with Duelin, was introducing him. He's not a Seven Wonders fan. I've never played Seven Wonders. I like Duel, Duelin doesn't. I called it. I think it's a great game. I love Seven Wonders Duel actually. I wish I would have kept it to try it out with the expansions, but it just doesn't get played. I've played it with my housemate and Danielle and Duelin, and it seems like everybody enjoyed it except for Duelin, but it never really got back to the table. So it's just one of those things that I don't feel the need to own it at this point in time. I will totally say it's an excellent game, and I recommend you try it, especially if you're into those 2-player games, but Duelin, not a fan. Next up, we've got Biblios. I played this game one time in the month of July. This is by ELO, and it is a wonderful little drafting, auction, bidding game. Basically, you're taking cards, 3 cards in a 2-player game, and you're deciding to keep one, and you're deciding to give one to the other player, and you're deciding to add one into the auction pile. You don't get to look at all 3 cards and then make that decision. It's a push your luck kind of game too. You're drawing 1 card, deciding what to do with it, moving on, taking the action of the remaining 2, moving on, and whatever you stuck with, you're stuck with. So if I give Duelin a 2, auction off a 2, and then grab a 1, well, I mess myself up, but that's the way the game goes. Really, really like this game. You're also manipulating the scoring at the end of the game. Throughout the game, you're changing how many points these categories are going to be worth. I love Biblios. Awesome game. Okay, next up, I've never actually played the physical copy in the month of July. At least I played Kingdomino a total of 10 times, I believe. All of this was on BGA, predominantly with the Foster the Meeple crew, Jeff and Jamey. I don't have victory numbers here or anything like that. I'm just doing rapid reviews here. Great game. Love Kingdomino. Unsure if I need to own the physical copy at this point in time because I've played BGA a ton. Super simple, really easy. Love this game. I'm gonna hold on to the physical copy, but like the BGA adaptation is great. If you haven't played it already, I totally recommend it. Next up, we played Viticulture by Stonemaier Games. I played this game one time in the month of July. I have played it more than that, but in the month of July, I played it one time. Absolutely enjoy this game. I said that I culled Architects for this game because I don't really think in my collection I need to own them both. I do think I prefer Architects, barely, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. But this one, the theme, and it's simpler. It's just the iconography is not anywhere near as confusing for first timers. Viticulture hits the table a lot more often. I do own the Tuscany expansion. I have not played with it yet. I know everybody in the comments is probably going to yell at me that I haven't tried it with Tuscany yet, but I do intend to in the near future. Viticulture, excellent game. Very much enjoyed a little entry-level worker placement game. Next up on the list, again, another one that I did not play the physical copy of is Welcome To by Deepwater Games. This is a flip and write in which you're building out your neighborhood. I thought I was good at this game. I've played this game 7 times in the month of July. I think I've lost the vast majority of those. Actually, there's at least 1 or 2 that aren't counted because we play asynchronously in our Discord with at least 12 people, not at least, with a maximum of 12 people. We usually always have an async welcome to game running. So great game, but wow, I have lost the touch. I've lost the touch. I keep getting permit refusals left and right, and I don't understand why. What am I doing wrong? The reason this game is so thick is because there's all the expansions in here. Some of them haven't even been opened. In fact, most of them haven't even been opened. I do enjoy the expansions that I've played so far. I think the favorite's the winter, but I only played base game in the month of July, only played on BGA, still love it. Unsure if I need to own the physical copy though, kind of like Kingdomino. You're gonna see that with these BGA games that I like more than the rest, is that I'm not quite sure I need to own the physical copy anymore, which isn't a bad thing. I'm glad that it's on BGA and I will continue to play it. Hey Draco, welcome buddy. Welcome. Welcome to's falling apart. That can't sit vertically. We're just gonna have to let that be horizontally. Next up, we've got Draftosaurus. This is another one, camera, thank you. Another one that this is another one that I've only played on BGA. No physical copy plays in the month of July. I played this game 17 times. 17 times in the month of July. Excellent game, just like Kingdomino and Welcome To. I'm not certain if I need to own the physical copy anymore, though I will say this has the best physical components of any of these games. Welcome To is cards and a sheet of paper, or a pad of paper. Kingdomino, some cardboard tiles and cardboard castles. They're cool, but the dinosaur meeples in this game are really awesome. So I do think I want to hold on to the physical copy of this. I want to get the expansions for this game because I really want to see how that works out. I quite liked the core game experience, but I want to try the expansions. I like to do the summer and winter side, just extend the game a little bit. A lot of fun. We played that with the Foster the Meeple crew as well, probably all 17 times. Excellent game. In BGA, you can finish it in 5 minutes. It's just so freaking fast. Okay, next up, I don't have this. This is Valor and Villainy Lludwik's Labyrinth. This is one we had to send back after we played. I played this game 4 times. This was on Kickstarter. It no longer is. I really liked Valor and Villainy, actually. I was scared because it's a prototype, and prototypes are difficult. There's things everywhere. It wasn't organized when it came to me. That's not the fault of the publisher or anything, but I had to reorganize everything because it's a legacy game and also a prototype. It was a bit of a nightmare, and I still really enjoyed the game. I played 4 scenarios, 4 chapters, really liked every single one of them. I like the way it plays. I like the upgrading system. I like the camp where you can kind of get permanent upgrades. A lot of things reset after each scenario, but over time you're gonna be able to level up at the start of every scenario or include an item with you, stuff like that. I really did enjoy that. The story is super hokey and like funny. So if you're not into that, if you want a more serious game, it's not for you one bit, but I think they made that very clear. So next up on the list, it's actually over there, but I don't feel like grabbing it, is Search for Planet X. First time I've played it. It's a game I've wanted to play for quite some time. It's a deduction game when you're trying to find Planet X and narrow down what's in each of these 12 sectors. I really enjoyed it, but I played it kind of wrong. I didn't play it wrong, like it was fair, but I misunderstood a rule that was taught to me, and it wasn't the person who I played with fault at all, but essentially I made it way harder on myself, and I did end up losing, but I really liked it. I don't know how I feel about everyone that plays it having to have the app, because that seems a bit over the top. But the game is great. I really enjoyed it, and I do want to play it again. He let me borrow it so I can give it a couple more tries. Haven't done that yet, but I intend to in the future. I like deduction games. I love mind management. I love awkward guests, stuff like that, Clue. So it really kind of fits my niche. Next up, we've got Smash Up. I do not have this anymore. I played this game twice. If you've seen our AEG wrap-up video or the top 5 worst games on my collection, I am not a fan of Smash Up, and that's okay. I'm sure you or some people out there watching this are, and that's fine. It's a objectively good game, I think. It's just not for me. I didn't like it one bit, but I can see why people like it. I understand that. It's certainly not for me. I didn't have a good time. It overstayed its welcome. As soon as I finished looking at my deck one time, I was like, well, I've seen all that I really feel like I need to see here. I will put in the caveat that I'm not a typical card game player anyways, so I'm sure that already immediately docks some points off. So take it with a grain of salt, but Smash Up, not a fan for us. Next up on the list, we had Watergate, just a 2-player game. Played this one with Danielle one night. I really liked it, and caveat, we played it very wrong. Same thing that happened with Search for Planet X happened with Watergate, except for I was the teacher and Danielle did not realize she could move the momentum token. She thought that she just had to win in 5 rounds because I kept getting the momentum token as Nixon. She did not realize she could play Tug of War with that. So I won in 5 rounds, but I really, really liked what I saw from it. The Tug of War over the tiles, the web that you're placing out. In general, really happy with this game. Whether it's gonna be one I keep or not, we'll see after another play or two. I really liked what I saw, but theme's kind of dry and I'm not sure how often it'll get tabled is the problem. But it is a really good game. I really recommend you try this out if you like 2-player strategy games. Next up on the list, we have Chronicles of Crime 1400, which is, I believe, upstairs right now somewhere. I genuinely don't know. Played this one time. I think it might be my favorite of the Chronicles of Crime. My ranking is 1400, 1900, and then base. Base is much lower than either of the other two. 1900's here, 1400 is here. I think I just slightly prefer the setting of 1400. I will say that in the one scenario we played, we didn't utilize the dog at all, which is kind of like the selling point of 1400. But I intend to, and I'm assuming that we will in a future scenario. 1900's puzzles were probably a little better, so they get that a bump. But again, setting to me, I think pulls 1400 a little bit over 1900. Next on the list is Crash Octopus. Oh God, I'm having to start reaching now. Maybe I should just move some things a little closer so I don't have to reach every time. Okay. Next on the list, Crash Octopus. This is by Itten. This is a dexterity game in which you are trying to get treasures that have been knocked off your boat back onto your boat, be the first one to do so while avoiding the octopus attacks. I really like this game. It's a dexterity game, which I find hard to totally recommend to anybody. I think dexterity games are a little unique in that one may fall flat for some while also being the greatest dexterity game of all time for others. I think they're very individual experiences that may or may not work for you. I really like Crash Octopus. I love the art. I love the table presence this game has. And I love that it's a little gimmicky. You know, you got the flags you're flicking. It's all fun and games. I really enjoyed it. Only played with the core set. There's like 3 mini expansions included in this box. Hi, Draco. Even when he's not on camera, he wants to tell everyone he's around. I really liked Crash Octopus, but again, it's one that I can't really just be like, go get it. You should try it. But I do think that if you have the opportunity to do so, you would definitely like to try it at least. Next up on the list, we have Architects of the West Kingdom. This is a game that I played and I've kind of talked about a little bit already. I think I prefer this to Viticulture, even though they are different, but they're kind of like that entry-level worker placement. I think Viticulture is more accessible, which is why I gave it the nudge to at least keep Viticulture, whereas I culled Architects to Duel, so it doesn't really count. But then I reacquired Architects as well in a trade, and I'm happy to own it for now. I need to play both Viticulture and Architects with more people because I've only played Architects with Sean and Doolin so far. I want to try it with Danielle and see if she likes it and other people like that. I really enjoyed this game, but not a love. I really like it, but it's not one of my like favorites or anything. So good game. I have the metal coins now, which is nice. Remy, do you need to tell us you're here too? Thank you, bud. Thank you. Next up on the list is Babylonia. I played this game one time in the month of July. This is a Reiner Knizia Ludo Nova production. I really, really love this game. I can't really think of off the top of my head how to describe it. It's a route building, area control, action. I don't know. It's not worker placement, is it? I mean, maybe? I don't know. It's a great game. Basically, you're trying to connect different chits to other chits, and they score you points when you surround a city and things like that. Awesome game. Plays in no time at all. You're talking 30 to 60 minutes for a 2 to 3 player game. I'm imagining 4 is about the same. I really like this game. It's not leaving my list anytime soon. I know it compares a little bit to Blue Lagoon and Tigris and Euphrates, I think. I've never played those two. But Babylonia is awesome. Gorgeous production too. I think it looks really nice on the table as well. Definite keep for me, and I recommend it. Next up on the list, you've seen this if you've watched my rankings video where I live streamed and ranked every single one of the games in my collection. You know, miss a few, I'm sure. But this is Oath by Leader Games. This is the physical copy, of which I have yet to play. I played one time on Tabletop Simulator through our Discord. Thank you, Pristine, for the teach. I also played with Michelle from Second Star to the Left, Rar, I'm Dan, and also Jeff from Foster the Meeple. And this was an awesome experience. I was the Chancellor, and the game was just incredible. Thematic, tug of war, fighting, negotiation, backstabbing. It was everything I wanted it to be and more. Now, it was a first play experience. I might not get that awesome of an experience again for a few plays. I have no idea. But I did put this at number 1 in my live stream rankings, with the caveat that I've only played it one time in a learning-ish game on TTS. Hopefully we can keep the Chronicle going over in our Discord. That's the intention. I still need to kind of learn it some more because it was one play and it is a big game with lots going on. I also desperately want to play the physical copy because it is my favorite production I've ever had, I think. I bought this game with the intention of never playing it. Well, I wanted to, but I had already, told myself and come to terms with the fact that I would likely never play my physical copy. But the game itself is so gorgeous. It's easily the most beautiful game I've ever owned, in my opinion. With that being said, I know we've had discussions in the Discord already of not everyone loves it, so you may not. But Oath was everything I wanted it to be and more. Absolutely incredible. Next up on the list is Divinus. This game is currently on GameFound, Lucky Duck Games. This is the prototype. I was only able to play the first 2 chapters of Divinus. I had a really good time with this. I played it with my wife, Danielle. The playthrough video for chapter 2 is on our channel if you'd like to go see that. This is a dice rolling action selection legacy tile placement game. Maybe. Take that with a grain of salt, but to me, it played like a legacy version of Carcassonne or Kingdomino with some really cool dice manipulation action selection. I really like the way that you have to add or subtract or combination of the two to select the tiles. I thought that was genius. I really liked that. I like that you can upgrade the dice and get different abilities for your character. I was really a fan of the first 2 chapters that I've played. And I really want to get the game once it comes out and releases. So that's Divinus. If it interests you at all, check it out on GameFound. Next up on the list, we have Cat Lady. Played this game one time with Duel. You may have heard us talk about it already in our AEG Roundup video, which we made a joke mentioning that there should be a dog version. And actually, someone from AEG commented on the video and let us know that there is a dog version coming out next year. I think it's Dog Lover or something like that. So hey, Duel, you have that to look forward to. I like this game, don't love it. I think it's good. I think it's quite good, actually. Really simple. I like the action selection system where you're taking a row or a column and then it gets blocked off for the next player. I think it's really genius. I think it works really well. Super simple, easy to table. Not my favorite game in the world, but it is really good for the weight at which it stands, I think. Next up on the list, we have Downforce, no physical copy here. Played it on TTS, BGA with Foster the Meeple and Jash and Duel, I believe, and Danielle. I quite like Downforce. It's less of a racing game and more of a bidding game because it doesn't really matter if you win or lose. It kind of does, but it mostly matters as who you bet on if they win or lose. I really like it. It's not a love for me because it seems hard to predict. I'm sure I'm just bad, and that's fine. It just didn't work super great for me, but that's probably a me problem, not a Downforce problem. I did enjoy it. It's a like for sure, 7 out of 10, something like that. I want to play it some more, and I'd love to play the physical copy too, but I don't have it right now. Next up on the list is Nidavellir, or Nidavellir, or however you want to say it. Also, most of these I've only played one time. If I played them more than once, I specified, I believe. Nidavellir I played 8 times on BGA. I believe I won 4 or 5 of those 8 times. I really like Nidavellir. Whatever. I really like it. It is a lot of fun. I've played with the Thingavelier expansion one time. I didn't grasp it, and I was playing on my phone, and there are no like hover capabilities on BGA on your phone, so I couldn't see what certain cards did. If I was playing on the computer, I could have hovered it, learned it a lot better. I didn't get the expansion yet, but I'm sure it's fine. I really like Nidavellir. I know if you've watched Jeff's video, Jeff and Jamey at Foster the Meeple's video, Jeff is not a fan of Nidavellir. Maybe he would be more in person. He thinks he sucks at BGA, yet he still beats us half the time. But Nidavellir is great. Big fan. It's a drafting, tableau building game in which you're trying to basically earn points in a number of different ways. But I had a really good time with it, and I want to play it again, and I want to own it.
Hi!
Hi!
What are you doing down there?
recording a video. Girls just got home. You can probably tell. In fact, you probably can't even hear me over the ruckus that it is. So, we're going to finish this out. I've just got a few more games left. Castles of Burgundy. Next up on the list, you've got Castles of Burgundy. Again, another one that I just played on BGA. I've never actually played this physical copy since I got the Anniversary Edition. Played it at 3 with Jeff and Jamey. Thought I was going to win. Jamey pulled out like, it felt like, I don't know, felt like 75 points in like 2 turns. It was disgusting. But anyways, it's a great game. I really like this one. I like it better in person because it's hard for me to focus on like heavy strategy games on BGA, especially when I'm chatting with my friends. We were just hanging out, having a good time. I wasn't sitting there asynchronously taking, minutes to decide what I wanted to do. I was kind of just chatting. Oh, it's my turn. Let's figure it out. It doesn't really work that well for me on BGA, but I did thoroughly enjoy it, and I am loving this game in general. Still a huge fan of Castles of Burgundy. One of the drier games I own, but I do absolutely enjoy playing it. Okay, moving on to the next page, and we're almost done here. I played 4 games of Mind Management. This game is a new release by J. Cormier, Sen-Foong Lim, and Off the Page Games, art by Matt Kent. It's based off of a comic book of the same name, Mind Management, just made by Matt Kent. This is a hidden movement game, and I've never played that before. You can go check out the gameplay with Duel if you want to see how it plays and our final thoughts on Mind Management. But for me personally, it's my favorite hidden movement game I've ever played. Well, obviously because I've never played one, but genuinely, I love this game. I really do. I had an awesome time. I love the shift system, how it's gonna at least keep things different, new, and engaging for at least 14 games. It helps the loser out a little bit of a handicap. I believe it keeps things fun and fresh. With that being said, I also think this game is going to excel at the 2 to 3 player count. I know most hidden movement games require 4-ish, 5-ish to really be great. I think this is the opposite. I think the higher in player count you go, I think at 5, this game would suffer tremendously because you would get, well, the rogue agents would have a bad time. The recruiter's job isn't really going to change at all, but the rogue agents would have 1 turn every 2 turns, and the actions are really simple. I think each rogue agent being controlled by 1 person is not going to work well. Having 1 person control all 4 rogue agents, or maybe 2 people control 2 each, I think would be great. This is definitely, in my opinion, having not played any of the rest, the best 2-player hidden movement game you can find, bar none. Okay, next on the list, I played a game called No Thanks. This was on BGA, never played the physical copy, barely knew how to play. The first game we kind of stumbled through, learning it, figuring it out. Didn't really love it, kind of got it though. Second game, I'm not gonna say I loved it, but I did enjoy it quite a lot more. It's a game in which you're basically acquiring cards or paying a dollar, for example, a chip to pass. Say, no thanks, I don't want that card. Cards are numbered from 3 to 35, I think, and basically they count as negatives. So if a 3 pops up, no one's gonna say no thanks. They're obviously gonna take that into their hand. But if a 35's there, people are gonna put chips on it left and right until someone's basically either forced to take it or decides that it's worth it, because when you take a card, you also acquire the chips, meaning everyone's chips are dwindling by not picking up cards. So you can take 1 big card that has 9, 10 chips on it and maybe be set for the rest of the game, not have to take anything else. I actually quite enjoyed it, and I think I'd like to own the physical copy because I think it would play really easily at parties with family and friends that don't play board games. Really simple game, not hard to explain, not hard to teach, and I actually kind of liked it. Last on the list is Coup. Did not play the physical copy, strictly played this game on BGA, and I'll admit, as much as I like Coup in person, it doesn't work on BGA. Not for me. I did not have a good time. I didn't hate it. I was hanging out with my friends. This was with Jash, Duel, Jeff, Jamey, and Danielle. We had fun talking, I guess. Luna doesn't come into the videos that often. Hi, baby. But yeah, Coup is not a win on BGA in my opinion. One of the few games I've played on BGA where I just really didn't like it. Even Castle of Burgundy, I had a good time. I liked it. Just don't love it on BGA. I want that physical presence for that game. But Coup, I will not play Coup on BGA again unless someone desperately wanted to try it out. Not one for me, but in general, the game is still fun. Though I believe I have such a tendency to be a host or to want other people to have fun that I do think player elimination games are starting to be a little bit of a turnoff for me. Not entirely. I don't think coup is long enough to really be a problem. But on BGA, it's extended. It did feel like one of those things, and when you're playing with 6 people, that once you got eliminated, you were sat there for 15 minutes plus while everyone finished the game. And in my opinion, that's not fun for most people. So these are the 25 games that I played in the month of July. I played a total of 75 plays with, I believe, 22 different people or something like that. My stats are on my phone. My phone's recording the video. I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed this little rapid review. If there are any in here that you'd like to see a more in-depth review of, let me know. Some of these are already available on our channel, such as the AEG games, Viticulture, Mind Management, Babylonia, Divinus, whatever. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Now the dog's trying to break in the door. Things are happening here. It's chaotic. And I'm going to go ahead and close the video off now and say thank you for watching. See you next time.